Hello everyone. I was just gonna do a quick video on whether or not you should choose Americans or Germans in the naval closed beta on War Thunder. So I was just gonna basically give you guys a rundown on the strengths and weaknesses that I have found so far for the Americans and Germans. Now, don't get me wrong, even though it's like, yeah, I haven't unlocked any of these ships. I played a few of these ships before the closed beta, and I was gonna just talk about their strengths and weaknesses. So we'll start out with the American tier one. So you're gonna start with the Higgins 81 feet patrol PT6, however you say it, and it's not bad. It's right here. It only has 250 cows, and basically you'll get killed really fast, but you'll do a decent amount of damage. The one thing I suggest doing is going for fire suppression as soon as possible, as well as rolling with the universal belts, universal or AP, because you're gonna need all the pen you can get because you're gonna frequently get up tiered where you can barely pen anything, and having like the extra bit of penetration really helps. It's not that bad compared to the German boat. Now, I don't really like this one. Uh, as you can tell, it looks kind of funny. Uh, it has a 15 millimeter cannon versus the Higgins 12, but the problem is it doesn't matter even if it has just a slightly stronger gun, even though it's only one of them, because this thing gets killed instantly. It really does. This thing gets slaughtered. Like, I know some people might disagree with me, but from my personal experience, this thing just, no matter who it's going against, just gets mowed down instantly. So when you're first starting out, I personally think that the Americans are better just because you have a little bit more tank and a little bit more firepower. Even though it is sometimes hard to get both guns trained on a single point. Um, as for your starting premiums, I was I ended up getting this a long time ago. They've done a lot of changes. This boat used to have a gun in the front, rockets on the sides. Um, it was pretty decent. Now it's kind of lackluster. I don't actually know why it's at 2.0. So you're looking at two sets of 250 cals here and here, as well as a 20 mil in the back. Now, when you're engaging with someone with this, I prefer to actually like get in a cove kind of, and then back up towards the enemy and engage them with my 20 millimeters. And then when I'm rushing to a point, I'll mow them down with my 50 cals. But that being said, it's not that survivable, unfortunately. Like, you'll get killed by stock boats easily. Like, you have to be careful with this boat, and it's kind of lackluster in my opinion. Now, unfortunately, the Germans don't have one here, but I'll talk about this one later. Um, Now, as for, let's say you decide to go with the Americans, what boats you should go with? You should definitely go for the Nasty. I don't know why it's called the Nasty, but this thing is a beast. You're looking at a 40 millimeter cannon in the back that really does some damage, as well as a 50 cal and two 20 millimeters. This thing you're gonna play similar. At least I play it similar to this boat, where I'll like sit in the back and use my 40 mil when I'm behind a cove or something, and then when I want to bum rush a point, I'll just face forward and freaking mow them down with my 220s, and of course the 50 with the mortar, but the mortar is like impossible to use from my experience. Um, this boat, survivability wise, I think it's way better than this boat. It's just something about it can just tank more. You definitely want to go for fire suppression first. Any boat you get in this game, go for fire suppression because these boats catch on fire like instantly. It's crazy. But you basically want to play this the same as this one. Just sit in the back, use a 40, and when you want to go bum rush a point, just use these front guns. As for the Germans, the first boat you're going to go for, you have two options. I'll show you both. This boat's not bad. It's really not. I played a similar version of this in before, except it had a 37 millimeter turret and a quad 20 millimeter in the back, and it's not bad to be honest. It's decent. It's tanky. It's if this is anything like what I played, it's pretty fast, 62 kilometers per hour, which you can definitely upgrade. Versus then you can go for this one, which will give you a 37 millimeter cannon in the back. Personally, if I had to choose, just my humble opinion, I would probably go for this one. I'd probably go for the S-38. Now, you do have the gun platforms. We can't forget about those. Though, these guns, yeah, they're quad 20 mils. The only problem is they have a lot of ammo, but they tend to have really small clip sizes. So you get like a few seconds of bursting and then you gotta reload. But that being said, when this thing gets down tier, it just stomps. Like you literally can just like sit at the enemy spawn and kill. You have to watch out for torps and planes, but yeah, it's kind of not fair to be honest. Um, but personally, if I was going, I would go here. Now, as for once you unlock the nasty on the Americans, you just basically just gonna want to go up this line until you get to Tech 2. As for the Germans, you can choose. Me personally, I'd probably go up this line and then maybe get a few of these until you get the 4 vehicle requirement. Now, Tier 2. Who wins Tier 2? Germans all the way. The reason being is these two ships right here. These two ships are beast. They're absolutely amazing. Now, before I get to those, I'll talk about the other ships real fast. These ships right here are versions of that previous ship that I showed you guys. As you can tell, I think this was one that was similar. It has a 20 millimeter. Well, actually, that one had a 37 millimeter cannon, 20 millimeter and 37 in the back. It's not bad. It's fast. It's good. This one has the 30 mil in the front. Yeah, I think this is the one that we actually used. This one's a beast. It's fast, quick, lots of firepower. The hydrofoil, it's just I don't know why the hydrofoils are so high. The Germans 3.0, the Americans 4.0. I don't know. They just don't have the firepower for the BR. And then you can go more the barge path. If you really like firepower, I suggest going these. The only problem is these things are slow. Like they're not fast. The only notable thing is like yeah, he's got some freaking amazing guns on them. As in like you'll want like two like if you connect with your target, you're gonna really hurt. And then you got this one as well, MZ1, which is not bad. Actually, kind of looks pretty decent in my opinion. And then we get to the two prize gems of the German boats tier 2. This thing is a beast. Oh my gosh. This thing is crazy. So you're looking at quad or double 30 millimeter turrets in the front and back, which you can control at the same time, as well as 4 torp tubes. And the thing is these things shoot like the freaking like it's insane. They're like miniguns, and they're 30 millimeter cannons. And geez, they're amazing. I love them. The reason being is you shoot 30 millimeter shells at such a high fire rate, you literally just annihilate the competition. Now the next thing up is this one. Let's wait for it to load. This one's slightly bigger and has a really cool torpedo arrangement. If you're curious how they go, they kind of curve like that. But this one has 76 millimeter automatic guns, and they are even better than the 30 mils. The reason being is if you get up tiered or something, you'll still be able to do damage to any of the bigger ships, as well as just wipe the competition on the armor. Like killing speed wise, this one's better just because you're unloading so many rounds downrange. But like overall wise, I would stick with this one. Now, let's go to the competition, the Americans. Uh, so these boats all right here are basically upgrades of the Nasty, in my opinion. Or well, I guess technically they're upgrades of this one, but they're all very similar. If we look at this one, it's just got a 40 millimeter cannon in the back, 37 up here. It's not bad. This one similar armament. This one also similar armament. This one also similar armament, except you have two 40 millimeter cannons. I think this one's kind of the cream of the crop, to be honest. Um, and then we got this one as well, which is similar to that one. And I don't really understand the BRs, to be honest. Like, does an 81 millimeter mortar really do that much of a difference? Like 3.7? And then we go to the American hydrofoil. Now, the problem with this thing is, yay, you have a 40 millimeter cannon in the front, except you only have one. You do have some Brownings right here, but the problem is this thing is really weak. Sure, it's pretty freaking fast. Don't get me wrong, but bullets are way faster, and they're gonna catch up. They're just gonna leave their shot and annihilate you. That happened to me so many times with this thing. It's good, don't get me wrong, but I mean, if you're going against the German boats, they're just going to blow you out of the water. Even the American ones, they just have to land one or two shots. Really, they just have to hit your engine, and you'll just sink back into the water. I don't know. I don't really understand why it's at 4.0. Maybe for the speed, like you can maybe get around the map and flank. I guess you could think of this as like a light tank if you look at it armor wise. And then probably the best tier 2 American one, in my opinion, is this one. The main reason being this cannon. Now, this cannon does do a lot of damage. If we look at the boat itself, we got this Mark 34 gun up here, as well as the 40 millimeter cannon back here, and you do got like some Brownings right here. The cannon definitely is good, but the problem is the Germans. At least the last German one with like the automatic 75 millimeter cannons will just blow the ship out of the water. When I was doing this during testing, I just killed this thing instantly with that ship. It was ridiculous, to be honest. But now let's go to Tech 3. For Germans versus Americans, I personally lean more towards the Americans, just in my opinion. Once you get to this tier, it's not the ships become in my opinion, a lot more similar. It's more of just like how good you are at leading your shots and stuff like that. Like we'll take a look. For the Americans, we got the Clemson. So it's got 4-inch guns, as you can see right here. I actually haven't tried this boat out, but it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't have any armor, unfortunately. The cream of the crop, in my opinion, is the Fletcher. The Fletcher is a beast. Now, I did use this gun a lot. These guns are nice. They reload really fast. They do a lot of damage. You're basically like a freaking killing machine. And it does have some skirt armor. I think that's what it's called. It's not bad. It's pretty good, in my opinion. Now, over to the Germans. I did use, I think I did end up using this one. If we look at this, if we look at the 1924, you can see it's similar to the American version of this, except it does have armor along here, but it's only 13 millimeters. And to be honest, like if they're running any armor-piercing shell, they're gonna pierce it. And it does have 328 millimeter naval guns, and it's not bad. But this one is basically what's going to be going against the Fletcher. As you can tell, they both have 5 turrets. I just like the Fletcher more. I don't know. When I was using them, I just felt like the Fletcher did like more damage, like faster, better, stronger. But to be honest, I could just be biased. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably biased, to be honest, but I personally prefer the Americans. I just thought it had a little bit more firepower, a little bit more maneuverability, stuff like that. And now for the premiums, you can tell it's similar. Uh, it's just the difference between this one and this one is this one just has more anti-air. The difference between this one and this one is this one has more anti-air, basically. Well, I mean, I guess if you count like 40 millimeter, twin 40 millimeter guns, anti-air, but you're not really going to hit much with these because you'll be at such a long ranges usually, as in like 5 kilometers. Now, the Trenton versus the Emden. For tier 4, just based on this ship alone, it's all hands US. The reason being, let's go look at it. You got two, in the front and back, you got two twin 6-inch cannons. And then you got all these individual 6-inch cannons right here. Now, what makes this ship special is the armor you got surrounding your engines. It's going to make sure that like you basically don't lose your engines, more or less. Unless they're running armor piercing, they're specifically going for it. Now, the only downside to this is since the armor is right here, you do have the chance of getting your ammo stores blown up. Now, they are pretty underwater, so it will be a hard shot at ranges the ship will be fighting at, but it would be interesting. Now, the only downside to this ship is actually not like another ship. It's the fact that it'll be going against the Fritz X, the X bomb, however you call it, the guided bomb. Now, really good bombardiers are going to aim for your air ammo stores and just one-shot you. Unless the bomb just one-shots your ship in general. But if they hit your ammo store, you're just going to go boom. But they have to be pretty decent, and you can kind of dodge. I mean, the ship's mildly maneuverable. Now, for the German counterpart is the Emden. I use this one as well. I prefer the American one, but if we look at it, it's got a bunch of guns too. It's got 8 15-centimeter guns, 305 millimeter guns, and a bunch of AA. If we look, they're all, you basically got 4 on the front, a bunch in the middle, and 2 on the back. The cool thing is you do have armor going all along your ship. And you actually have a second plate in here as well. But just from personal experience, I was just able to destroy this ship. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was something like, I was just able to kill it for some reason. Maybe it changed. But like, when I was using the freaking Trenton, I was just destroying the Emden. But that's just me. It is like they are both really good ships, and I could be biased, so just take my opinion as a grain of salt. But that's just my opinion. Now, as for overall, which nation should you choose? Here's what I'm going to say to this. If you're looking for more classical style, like gameplay, I'd probably go with America. Now, the reason being that is kind of similar to planes. I like Germans just because they have some really cool plane designs. Like they have because they were really big into like prototyping, and Gaijin tends to add a lot of these prototypes like the Moss and like all these paper designs in the aviation. That being said, like Germany has some really cool ships. Like you got these floating barges, and you have like these 2 god tier boats, and like you got these like really fast ones right here. Like I would if you're looking for more, I guess like a variety of gameplay, I'd probably go with the Germans. But if you're looking more like standard boat combat, I'd probably go with the Americans. Both I think are amazing factions. You do have to remember that the Germans do get the Fritz X. Maybe eventually the Americans might get their own guided bomb. I don't know. But the Germans do get the Fritz X, and it has been good, if you're wondering. It's been very good. It definitely does what it's designed to. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to see future content, like me try out any one of these boats, just leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll definitely make a video on whichever boat you guys want to watch. But thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye!